Let me ask you something simple, but quietly powerful. When was the last time you truly felt your birthday? Not just acknowledged it, not just replied thank you to a few messages, but actually felt it the way you did when you were younger. Back then, birthdays meant something. You felt them coming days in advance. Your heart beat faster without knowing why. There were balloons, cake, candles, but more than that, there was attention. For one day, the world looked at you, and that feeling mattered. Now fast forward to adulthood. The same date arrives, but it doesn't land the same way. You wake up, maybe a few notifications, maybe a short call from your mother. Then the day quietly continues. You still go to work, still make your coffee, still scroll your phone. And when someone asks what you're doing for your birthday, you say, nothing special. You say you don't really celebrate. You say you don't care. You say it's just another day. But is it? Because beneath that calm response, there's often something deeper. People who treat their birthday like a normal day aren't cold or emotionless. Often they're introspective. They learned early that expectations can hurt, that hoping too much can lead to disappointment. So they learned to hope quietly, or not at all. Psychologically, birthdays act like emotional mirrors. They reflect how you feel about being alive, how comfortable you are receiving attention, how safe it feels to be seen. When someone says, I don't care about my birthday, sometimes what they really mean is, I stopped expecting anything from it. And there's a difference between maturity and emotional withdrawal. Some people genuinely grow out of birthday excitement, not because of sadness, but because of peace. They've learned to find meaning in ordinary days. Joy is no longer tied to a single date. Life itself becomes the celebration. But for others, birthdays are complicated. They bring a quiet tension, a mix of nostalgia and indifference, not because of age, but because of memory. Maybe birthdays remind them of moments when they felt forgotten. Maybe they once cared deeply and felt let down. So instead of saying, I hope someone notices this year, they say, it's just another day. That's not apathy, that's protection. The mind adapts to avoid pain. When disappointment repeats, the brain lowers expectations. You stop anticipating. You stop hoping loudly. You convince yourself you don't need validation. And while that may sound sad, it's also survival. But there's a cost. Over time, that protection dulls joy. You become careful, reserved. You start moving through your own life like a guest, present, polite, but distant. Think about how many people smile and say, oh, I don't really do birthdays. But later that night, they quietly replay the day. Who messaged, who didn't, who forgot. Even the ones who say they don't care still check. Because caring is human. Even pretending not to care is still a form of caring, just hidden. Psychologists call this avoidant validation. It's when you convince yourself you don't need recognition because part of you fears not receiving it. This pattern often forms in people who learned that emotional needs were inconvenient, that it was safer to need nothing than to be disappointed again. So when you meet someone who treats their birthday like any other day, don't assume they're detached. Sometimes they've simply made peace with disappointment. They've traded excitement for control. But control has a cost, because beneath "it's just another day" is a simple truth. We all want to be seen, not praised, not celebrated loudly, just seen. Birthdays are symbolic. They mark existence itself. The one day a year that belongs entirely to you, not for what you've achieved, but simply because you exist. And as we grow older, that reminder becomes heavier. Birthdays stop feeling like parties and start feeling like mirrors. They reflect time, change, distance. They quietly ask, how far have you come? And sometimes, how far haven't you? For some people, treating their birthday like a normal day is a way of staying grounded. If I don't make it a big deal, they think, it won't feel like another year slipping away. There's also discomfort in being celebrated, especially for those who were always the strong one, the responsible one, the giver. When you're always holding things together, your mind learns something. Your joy comes second. You remember everyone else's milestones and forget your own. Over time, celebration feels unnecessary, even awkward. Discomfort with being celebrated isn't humility, it's emotional exhaustion. Deep down, many of these people still want to feel seen, just not loudly. They don't want attention. They want understanding. They want someone to remember not just their birthday, but who they've been becoming. Because here's the paradox. The more self-reliant you become, the harder it feels to receive love without suspicion. So, birthdays become neutral days. It's fine, you say. Let's just get through it. But inside, the mind is processing everything. Nostalgia, subtle sadness, gratitude, a quiet longing for simplicity. That's why birthdays feel heavy for some people, not because of age, but because of reflection. So if your birthday ever feels strange, like you're supposed to feel something you don't, know this: you're not ungrateful, you're not detached, you're aware that celebration now means something deeper. Aware that validation feels different, aware that time moves faster, because birthdays were never really about age, they were about meaning. As a child, your birthday was about the world recognizing you. As an adult, it becomes about recognizing yourself. Less about presents, more about presence, less about who shows up, more about how much of you showed up this year. And maybe that's why many people stopped making a big deal out of it. Not because they stopped caring, but because their definition of celebration changed. For some, celebration looks like quiet, a walk alone, a favorite meal, a moment of stillness, not loud joy, soft joy. And silence isn't emptiness. It can be sacred. But here's the honest truth. Not everyone who spends their birthday quietly does so by choice. Old magic is still inside you, not waiting for a party, just waiting to be acknowledged. So maybe the real celebration isn't candles or confetti. Maybe it's a quiet moment where you say, "I see you. We made it another year." And that kind of celebration doesn't fade, even when the day feels ordinary. You still matter, especially then.